Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday, and welcome to Reselling 101 once again, or for the first time, part 2 of part 6 of 10 parts. Yeah, so I love taking pictures. These, not as much as people and places and other things outside of the house, but pictures are my passion. And as I said in the episode right before this one, we may, turn this photo thing into a 2 or 3 segment offering. So I got a lot of questions and a lot of comments about, well, could you do this? Or what about doing it that way? And I'd like to just spend the next 10 minutes showing you how I take pictures and giving you some suggestions on how you can do it in your own home too. Now, if you have been reselling for 20 years and know everything about everything, this is probably not the show for you because I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to make some suggestions that might be outside of your box, and that's okay. The purpose of this series, in my brain anyway, is to challenge people to do better, to teach someone how to do this as an income source, make some extra money. But if you're going to do it well. Don't do anything halfway. So let's just jump in, shall we? As usual, without a life vest. This is my photo table and how and where I do things. I also use a coffee table. I don't like, when I'm shopping eBay myself, going through and finding a perspective where we're looking down at a tiled floor or a linoleum floor from 6 feet away, and I'm staring at a blurry image. I'm not going to buy that pair of shoes, pants, pillowcases, or otherwise. And we've said before that when you put up a picture and you're trying to sell something, do better. Consider that may be the first and only impression someone gets of the item that you're wanting to sell. So either put it up as good as you can or don't. I know that sounds a little rough, but I don't understand why people will go through the effort of the hunt and the acquiring something and then just sort of throw it out there and see what happens. So some of the props and ways that I do it. And as we get through, and we're actually going to take a photo. One of the things I want to do with this morning is I'm going to, at the end, take an item, and we're going to run through all of the photos of it, and that will be the item that we list together when we get together and actually go through the listing process. So everything that we take a picture of, I want you to concentrate on it being in focus. Your color is good, your accuracy is good, and your detail is good. So if you can look up, see that lady? So when you're doing clothes, for example, you can either hang them up or you can flat lay them. And either way is good. Just pay attention to detail. Jeans, here's a pair of Joe's. The background that I use, or that you can use, this is probably the cheapest, easiest. This is just a white foam board. And this comes in handy also when you're taking blues that maybe, if you're using a white background and you take a photo of something and the white is kind of yellow, that's usually an indicator that your color is not going to be accurate. So start again, do it over. You can ask your camera to maybe reconcentrate on the logo of the jean or the edge, or if there's text, have it, on an iPhone, you can actually ask it to reorient its focal point. And I always go for this area here, especially with these Joes, for example, they have a different color logo, so it's going to kind of throw it off. But again, foam boards are probably the quickest, easiest white background that you can acquire. And again, if they're not white in the photo, your color's not accurate. You can also use the foam boards to bounce light. We talked about that in the one right before this. I brought out the garlic, minced garlic, just to sort of give you a different perspective. So this is an edible item, yes, and I'm asking you to kind of do a stretch here. You're not going to eat your clothes, but so if you were to take a picture of this minced garlic, for example, and your lighting isn't right, or you focused incorrectly or whatever, a couple of things are going to happen. One, if the garlic turns out brown, people aren't going to want to eat your garlic, right? So refocus, do it again, make it accurate. When you're taking a picture of jeans, clothing, anything with text on it, make sure that the text is in focus. Think of it as ingredients, what the makeup of the clothing item is, for example. If it's made of leather or if it's made of cotton or spandex, people need to read that. So if you're taking a picture of a label for size or composition, make sure it's clear. So think of it like ingredients. What's in the jar? Why do I want to buy it? Is it accurate? I also use, in addition to the table and the white, contact paper. It's an easy way, you know, when you go online and you're researching how to do this and you see how other sellers do it, either on YouTube or otherwise, you know, somebody will have a shaggy carpet background, or maybe they'll put a little Lego figure in the corner showing that it's them. I don't do that because I'm not selling the shaggy carpet background, or I'm not selling the little Lego guy. So just your background is just, it shouldn't be a focal point. It can also be confusing. So if you put something in your photograph that's you're not selling, you might have to explain later, you know, what's a good example? Like if you put shoe supports inside of a shoe and you're not planning on sending those with the shoe, I wouldn't put them in the picture. Or if you do, put something in the listing because people have a short attention span and they may or may not read it. So just try to be accurate. Contact paper, another option for a different color background. We have a coffee table that has a nice stone pattern, tile pattern on it. I use that too. And I'll have the light sort of shine down on that. With photographing shoes or boots, boots are a great example. I found these yesterday, actually. They're pretty cool. Not my size, lucky for me. But this is a pool noodle. And we've been talking a lot about pool noodles this week. And the pool noodle gives the boot support, right? So we put the pool noodle in and look at the difference. See, oops, and it's going to fall on my head. But it sort of gives it support, right? And think about what a better picture that's going to take than this. Which one are you going to buy? I think maybe you're going to buy the one that looks nicer in the photo, right? And with these particular shoes, these boots, they would probably they're not going to work on, let's just put them down because they're just going to get annoying. But they're just not going to stage well in a smaller, so I'm going to have to probably flat lay them because they're so long. I put the cup here just to also get you thinking, you know, if you're selling, I don't want new resellers like me. I'm not driving myself crazy going out to buy this prop or that prop. You know, I think I have an acrylic stand that I've taken pictures of shoes on before. This just made sense to me. But if I had a bracelet or a small item or a tie or a scarf, you know, we've used, you can put a bracelet on a cup. I mean, start thinking outside of the box as far as how you can stage your photographs and come up with an easy way with something you've already got around the house. I do not advocate going out and buying all these fancy things when you're just getting started because it's cutting into your funds, right? And I don't want you to start right out of the gate being frustrated because you've spent all this time and money on prep and you're not going to see a return on that right away. You know, if you see a light kit that you want, maybe you save up for that, but you make do because you can take amazing pictures, you can stage, you can do everything you need to do with what you've got, I promise. So we've got the garlic, the jeans, we talked about the jeans. And what we're going to do now is, if I can do this without making the whole setup, and if you could see, I wish I could take a picture of what we did to make this shot happen. You would just be hysterical because this is not how the office usually looks. So let's move over to the table. And for photography purposes, oh man, Okay, so I don't have my phone, and that's what I usually take pictures with. All right, so we're gonna pretend my iPad is my phone for this purpose. And I got this little lock just to sort of, we're not gonna do this one, but for, you know, if it has text, make sure the text is clear, and I'll kind of go through. But for photographs and listing, we're actually going to photograph this together, and we're going to list this exact item. And like magic, my phone appears. Man, it is great to not have support staff. So we're going to list, as some of you guys might know, I am a big Star Wars fan. And for years, if it had the Star Wars logo on it, I picked it up, whether it was Band-Aids, tissues, games, toys, whatever. So I have this mountain of Star Wars-ness for years now. And we're going to concentrate on this one, right? So these are some Band-Aid brand Star Wars. It's a twin pack, and it has a collector's tin. And I believe that is the Millennial Falcon. And I know it's Millennium Falcon. I get it. That's an inside joke. So see that? And there's my Yoda. And I'm actually wearing my Yoda shirt today. Only once you live, it says. So we're going to take pictures of the Yoda Band-Aids. And as we go, I'm going to make a couple of suggestions on how you can make your pictures better, crisper, and consistent. So with these Band-Aids or shoes, probably any item, I can't think of, unless it's something special or I have to change because it's big, I'm going to actually position my phone or my camera. Actually, yeah, there we go. That's better. So I'm going to actually hold it in the same place every single time. And I've gotten used to it now. I don't put a piece of tape, but there's a couple of dots or patterns in my table here, but my phone will always sit right here. And the item, I'll position it here based on some specs and the pattern of this particular table, but the item will also always be right there. So think about that for a second. It's going to make you take a consistent, you're going to frame it consistently. That means you're going to have the item that you're photographing, that you're going to be selling, positioned the same. And it's just paying attention to detail, and it's just something that I like to do. It makes your pictures flow better. And here we go. So in this case, and again, this is an iPhone, it's not a camera, but you can do it the same way. If you have it hooked directly to your laptop, or if you're going to put it on a memory card or upload it to the cloud, however you get there, whatever your device is, we're going to position it the same way. And I can see, actually, we'll bring this a little. So I'm going to take a front shot. And remember, the very first picture that you take, that's your money shot. That's your first impression. So in this case, I'm just going to take, I've sold these before. I'm going to take a picture of the front. And what I did when I touched my screen is, an iPhone will allow you to refocus or sort of get it to reorient on a certain position on the object. And I always do that. I never leave it up to focus on its own, because it kind of has a mind of its own. And I know from experience that it will not always balance the color how I want it to. So I've asked it to take that opening shot, and that's it. Sometimes I will also bring up this background sheet so that it's all white, but I don't think it matters too much. Now, this actual opening shot tells the buyer everything that they need to know. It's a twin pack plus a tin. There's two 20 count assorted size cartons plus the tin in there. And when I've sold these before, I actually, because these are new in a box, so I don't go crazy on the pictures, but I want them to know everything that they might want to know. I don't want to have to answer questions. Remember, more is better. If you put more information out there in photographs about your item, the less likely you are to get questions about it. And in this case, it's just a box of Band-Aids. I don't really have to measure it. It's pretty straightforward. This side of the box has what Band-Aids are in it. This one talks about, oh, there's 3 other tins you can get. The bottom only gives the UPC. I'll take a picture of that as well. So front. And actually, when I took these pictures, the last time, instead of doing a straight on shot, I gave it some angle just to give it some drama, because Yoda looks very foreboding there, does he not? Like the man of wisdom. So there. So in that case, it just sort of gives, see? And it's a little bit different because when I looked up these Band-Aids, and they're out there, other people are selling them, but, oh, I got to be careful what direction I go, right? There's all sorts of Mother's Day pictures on there. Anyway, so I take a picture of the front at a little bit different angle. And to show you, it just sort of gives it, see, we're either dealing with that or we're dealing with that. And my preference is this. It just gives it just jumps out at you more, but that's personal preference. So again, putting my camera in the same spot, I'm going to square it up. And again, because these are new in a box, I took pictures, and because you can post up to 12 pictures, I probably took 12. I can't remember, but so we take that side, we take the side that has the different kinds of Band-Aids. I take the back, because the back actually shows something different on these Band-Aids. It shows that 20 of them are going to be smaller and 20 of them are larger. And it's interesting about this, this particular Band-Aid, I don't know that people are buying them necessarily to use them for boo-boos. I think that collectors, I actually sent one overseas, a bunch of these overseas to one person. So I don't think that he was using them for Band-Aids. And remember, we talked about how I want to put the UPC and the lot number on it. So I will take a picture and I'll ask it to refocus, and I'll take it. And a good measure, we'll line it up, line it up. So now I have a complete set of, there's my complete set. So I've got my front, my sides, my back, and any other pertinent information. And I would do the same thing for anything that I had to sell. Remember, you're trying to portray the most accurate, via photographs, the most accurate representation of whatever you're trying to sell. And we want it to be in focus. We want your color to be good. We want it to be accurate. And any attention to detail that you can show is going to help you. So I hope that this was helpful, especially for all the folks that wanted to go through a set like what it looks like. See, it was painless. It didn't take very long, did it? And we were able to, hopefully it made sense, take the shots that we needed for the image. Now, what would that look like if we took pictures of other things? It would kind of be the same. I mean, I don't think it's any different if you take a picture of a pair of shoes or a pair of an item of clothing or whatever it is. I think that you just have to orient it correctly and just go to it. And you're not going to get better at it until you practice. And remember, we're not beating ourselves up over, not meeting perfection every single time. We're going to have to practice. We're going to have to come up with a way to do it and then maybe do it differently. We're always tweaking. We're always evolving. So thank you for joining me this morning for another installment of Reselling 101. And I hope that you got something out of it. Maybe you just learned that I'm a Star Wars nut. I don't know. But please consider leaving a comment, creative, helpful suggestion for others. I look at the comment section as a time capsule. So we're all sort of doing our best to help other people get better at this. And we can't do that if we aren't lifting each other up and leaving something positive in our wake. So thanks again. It's not the only way, but it's my way. And as always, I'm hoping that I'm helping you along your journey as well. So thank you. See you next time, and happy Reselling 101 to all of you.